Back then in 2017, when I was just trading currencies, and I wanted to make the transition from trading currencies to trading NASDAQ100, or what we call indices. And of course, I just jumped into trading indices, NASDAQ in particularly, because of the amount of profits that I was seeing people were making, the analysis, the volatility, that I just saw people making a lot of money from just having a small account balance. And of course, I was intrigued by this, so excited that I just went straight to trading it without having basic knowledge on how to trade these markets. And I believe this is just you as my viewer, because I begin to put myself in your shoes and trying to get into the mind of people who are watching this channel, to say, do really people understand what they're trading, what they're getting themselves into, since it's all just a hype and it's so popular among everybody? And it was just with that accountability and with that joy that I wanted to bring this content to you as you're just watching right now. And just before we can go into all the nitty-gritties to define it, we need to lay a very solid foundation, in fact, of what is actually NASDAQ. So when we talk about NASDAQ, guys, we want to talk about, it is actually just an acronym of a bigger word, of a bigger statement there, to say it actually means National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotations. Of course, you've heard that, it sounds familiar, but a lot of people actually just stop there and just say, yeah, that's what you're trading, top 100 companies. But a lot of people now get to be confused when they see news and you're watching NASDAQ, and we want to really break it down so that you understand exactly what you're trading in the markets. When we get into the whole NASDAQ thing, there are two types of NASDAQ, right? We have the NASDAQ Composite, and of course we have the NASDAQ 100 index. So there's the NASDAQ Composite index and there's the NASDAQ 100. A lot of us, what we are trading the NASDAQ 100 index. But we want to talk about first the NASDAQ Composite one and why it's so relevant that I actually share this with you. So the NASDAQ Composite index is basically a market capitalized weighted index. So that simply means that it actually has more than 3,300 common equities, or rather, equities listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange, or rather the stock exchange. And of course, this includes a lot of things such as common stocks. Okay, and of course we have real estate, we have investment trusts. And of course, we have the American depository receipts that are also part of it, and we have the limited partnerships. Of course, just to understand this NASDAQ Composite, that is not only limited to companies in the USA, but or rather that have a USA headquarters, but it just accommodates everyone that's able to have the capital that it can actually be traded in the NASDAQ Composite stock market. Now, most people, now we get to the second one, which is the NASDAQ 100. It's basically just a subset of the NASDAQ Composite Index. And what do I mean by that? When we get to talk about NASDAQ 100, it's just a group of 100 largest, most actively traded US companies in the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, or in the NASDAQ Composite Index. So they took the largest traded, most actively traded out of that, and it makes about what we call, you and I, what we know as the NASDAQ 100. And of course, it actually comprises of about 103 companies, so 3 more were just edited because of Google's parent alphabet. We have the A class, B class, and the C class being part of that, which makes or adds the other 3, but mainly it's just 100 companies. And of course, this index, as you and I know it, it is an index that is heavily concentrated on technological companies, and that makes about 50% of it. Then of course we have the second sector, which is the largest of course as well, which is the consumer services. So like your Amazon companies, they're also part of that. Okay, so that actually has about 25% of NASDAQ 100. Then we have other sectors like the healthcare and the industries, rather industrials and telecommunications that are part of the NASDAQ. Then of course, when we're talking about the NASDAQ, it does not include any other financial services like banks or whatsoever. So no banks are traded. Banks are just traded within the interbank market, not the stock market. And of course, one important thing just to understand when trading NASDAQ, it is an index that is weighed based on a modified capitalization methodology. What do I mean by that? For example, Tesla, as its income of course is growing and they're making more money, what happens is that they're gonna list it based on the largest and most performing company. So that's what it means when we mean modified capitalization. And of course, as we talk about that, a lot of people like to confuse what do we actually trade. Are we trading the NASDAQ 100? Are we trading the NASDAQ Composite index? Well, in essence, you're trading none of them. But technically you are, in a way, if you can say it. But let me just make you understand. When you're saying you're trading NASDAQ on your broker, it appears as NASDAQ. But what really you're trading what we call a CFD. So a CFD, contract for difference. It's just a financial derivative product. So you're just trading the agreement that when you enter the market at a certain price and you exit, they will pay you the difference. Hence, they're just trading the real thing themselves in the actual interbank market or the whole ocean of the Forex market there. And of course, one other thing that we need to talk about is why is it so popular? Why did it grow so fast among a lot of retail traders to become so popular? Number one, of course, is that we want to talk about the volatility. Everyone is interested on how fast NASDAQ 100 moves within a day and how much money they can actually make. And I'm one of those. I mean, we had a class where we were trading live and we had about 2,000 pips. 2,000 points in about minutes just trading NASDAQ. So that's what a lot of people are lacking when they're trading indexes. And of course, another thing that's very important is the leverage. Because you're trading a CFD, it will give you a higher leverage, and higher leverage simply means that you may have a small account balance, but you will be able to leverage that and make a lot of money. But the downside of it is that they don't understand, because of that high leverage in the pip count, is that you can actually lose a lot of money trading NASDAQ. So it's very much important that you can understand that you must approach trading NASDAQ 100 with the right risk management involved, with the right proper analysis, sniper entries as we call it, so that you may have a tighter stop loss, because the pip count is quite different, of course, when it comes to trading currencies. Anyway guys, this is the end of the video, and I just hope that the information that I shared with you right now was valuable to you and you learned a lot, even though it was just a short video. And of course, if it gave you value as a first-time viewer especially, please kindly do like. And of course, you can also just subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be teaching this in a series. We're going to be getting into some nice hectic topics that I'm going to be clarifying to you as a trader. And of course, also do like if you are a regular subscriber, and of course you know how we flow here, so that you're gonna get to like, and this video is going to be suggested to other people out there. Okay, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.